Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, June the 30th, 2023. Friday, June the 30th. One thing I forgot to mention about yesterday's recap that I had to just talk about it. When Lauren was talking to Michael, and Michael told her that he saw Phyllis, and Lauren was like, I would have given anything to have seen her. How was she? How is she looking? How is she? How was it? Goodness, tell me everything. Look, start from the beginning. She just wanted to hear about Phyllis because look, that is her friend. It truly is her friend, right? And so Michael told her, everything that happened. And Lauren says, okay, you are going to get Phyllis out of this mess, right? And he's like, you did tell her you would help her, right? And he goes, of course I did. Of course I did, Lauren. She goes, okay, good, good, good. What's your plan? How you going to do it? And he's like, I'm thinking, I haven't thought of it. She goes, well, hurry up. She says, look, you're the best. You will use some very unorthodox, uh, sometimes questionable methods, but they work. She's like, use them all. Do whatever you have to do to bring Phyllis home to us. And he was like, I am. I mean, there is some merit. I do have a few ideas to go on, a few. She goes, Michael, if anybody can do it, you can. And she's 100% right. If anybody could get Phyllis off of that mess, it's him. Because realistically, he could have got Diane off too. Michael will use some legal maneuvers, he will. Good for you. He gets slapped on the hands a little bit, but that's okay. He's effective, right? He might lose his license for 6 months, but he'll do what he got to do. And his clients benefit from it. So that's the plus. That is the plus. So that was just really, really cute to see Lauren just, oh, I wish. And now she knew she didn't tell him, how come you didn't let me see her? How come she already knew she can't be involved with that. She can't have the CEO of Finmore's aiding and abetting a criminal. So she knew. She didn't even say it. She just said, bring her home to me soon, to us soon. So that was really cute. I liked that a lot. And I forgot to mention it yesterday. So we have Kyle on telling Jack how he just can't. Summer did this and she did that and she lied to my face and she how could I ever trust her again? And Jack's just looking like, has it gone? Yes. Well, what else could Jack say? What else could anybody say? Kyle, if that's you, you do you. He just better be happy that Summer never adopted Harrison. Because had Summer adopted Harrison, I know what Summer would do. Okay, I'm taking my son with me. Mm-hmm. Right, but since she didn't, she has no claim to him. Tara Locke needs to get out and get out now and come take her son, period. Because if Kyle is a single man, he ain't happily married, he has no leverage over her. And I think somebody in comment said the same, comment corner said the same thing. And she will get her son back. Tara will. And then what will Kyle do? He'll go back to being, Kyle was a Billy Jr. I don't care how much Kyle wants to snub his nose at Billy. The only thing Kyle didn't have, Billy was always, he had an addictive personality. When he was a teenager, he was an alcoholic. Then he moved to gambling. Then Billy just gets off of a path and just gets very destructive. Kyle liked to be that carefree, do what you want, playboy. And that's Kyle. You know, Kyle is Kyle. Summer just definitely doesn't throw up in his face enough. You sure did trick me into giving up a kidney for your woman that you then divorced me for to marry, right? Summer's at least she'll give up a body part for Kyle. Will Kyle give up a body part for her? No, he will not. No, he won't. Everything in their relationship has always been whatever Kyle wanted. Kyle decided my mother missed my wedding to Summer. I'm going to have another wedding. Call it a surprise for Summer. When in reality, I just want my mother here to see us do vows because she missed it. So all that was, everybody. Everything is always whatever Kyle wants. The only thing that wasn't was when Summer left Genoa City and went to Marquette, which is why at the end, when Jack was talking to Summer, yesterday's episode, I was shocked when he said, if you and Kyle can't work together, then it's actually Kyle the one that has to walk away from Marquette, because you were the driving force. You were the brain child. You were the one that made Marquette happen, because Marquette, the designer, would never have sold that to Kyle or Jabot. She sold it to Summer. Okay. And so Summer just thought about it and like, wow, okay. Right. Then what would Kyle do? Because Billy has the co-CEO job. Want to know what Kyle would do? Kyle would now do like he tried to do when Adam was co-CEO. Undermine Billy. That's what Kyle would do, because that's the kind of person Kyle is, right? Undermine Billy. And let's see how Jack would handle that. How would Jack handle that? Because Billy is doing a phenomenal, Billy is the only one out of both companies that's actually working. Jack can't get into Jabot. Kyle can't get into Marquette. Summer's been MIA for a minute, right? Even on today's episode, Summer's talking to Michael. She's having meeting Michael for breakfast, and she's not dressed for work. But what she came walking in, and I thought, well, girl, what is happening here? You have a job, not a job, you have a company to run. You're not dressed for it. You haven't been at the office. It's just going. Kyle has been at Marquette more than Summer has. So that's a hot shame. Her mama's not around, so it's not like she's seeing her mother. Get your butt to work, girl. That way, when it comes time for somebody to walk away from it, everybody know it ain't you, because you've been here. So anyway, she's talking to Michael, and you saw my mother? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Phyllis is a fugitive. For one, why are you guys talking about this in public? Soon as she said, how's my mother doing? The lady at the next table, did you notice? She turned and she looked over like, what? How is her mother doing? You know, she didn't do that. But she could have, right? Because they talking just so nonchalantly. She could have done that. That's how ridiculous the conversation was in public. So anyway, he's just telling her, that she's still on the run, but they're going to be looking for the EMT, and he's going to take her case and yada yada yada, right? So Audra comes downstairs. Now, mind you, this is her first day as CEO of Newman Media. She's wearing this white, open, flimsy, jacketish deal with black pants and a black cami under it, or little short sleeve, no sleeve top. And it's not even executive looking, right? It's to something that I'm going to my child's parent teacher meeting. You know, I want to appear to come dressed because I'm a businesswoman, but I'm not full-fledged there because I'm coming to an elementary school, right? I said, now she's dressed better than that every other time. Why is she looking like that? And even her hair didn't even look good. So she sees Michael and Summer sitting at the table talking. She comes walking over. I don't mean to interrupt, but soon as somebody says, I don't mean to interrupt, but you want to know what needs to come out your mouth? You need to look at that person and say, then don't. And keep on with your conversation, especially if it's somebody you don't like. Don't even let them interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt, but then don't. We're in a conversation. And that person will look as stupid as they are standing there. You know, as stupid as they are standing there. You're Michael Baldwin. And oh, she's saying something, you know, trying to flatter Michael. Summer says, Audra Childs. Right? She looks at Summer. You see her hands. And so Michael says, oh, I've heard a lot about you. You're in Newman Media. She goes, yes, you know. And she looks at Summer or something, and she says, I just came over to offer my condolences. I was there the night your mother died, or is she dead? So Summer says, I think Summer says something about, I forget what Summer kind of says to her. And then Audra goes, well, I just wanted to come over and offer my condolences if your mother is really dead. And she turns and she walks away. See? That kind of stuff, as you smugly turn to walk away, my hand is in the back of that hair, right? Snatch. Because no. See, what did you do? You came over. You specifically came over to interrupt the conversation I'm having, to do some kind of undertoned insult at me, because that's exactly what you did. And Audrey would say, no, you misunderstood, because she's famous with telling people, you misunderstood. No, I don't misunderstand nothing. I knew exactly what you meant. You knew exactly what you meant. You knew exactly what you said as you turned and you walked away, chick. So now, since we understand each other, there's no need for you to ever interrupt the conversation I'm having again. Are we clear? And all Audra could do is say, quite. As she walks away. Michael, Summer looks at her as she's walking away, and Michael looked at her. He goes, "Ooh, that one there is a piece of work." Even he could tell, a piece of work. Yeah. Hot mess piece of work. So now we have Nick delivers the box to Sharon. She goes, oh, it's probably my shampoo. It's to be, delivered today. It was left out at the gatehouse. He brought it up, and they sat it on the table. She was getting ready to go to the coffee house, and Nick don't have nothing to do, and he's like, he just left Sally. Sally's not in the mood pretty much for company right now, and he just want to see how she's doing, and blah blah blah. So they're talking, and he says he doesn't know. He goes, oh my goodness, this whole leave of absence is now he's got to occupy his day. And she goes, well, I'm sure you'll find something to do. And so she goes, how long is it supposed to be, Nick? And he goes, I think indefinitely. Now, I'm sorry. If you're told you are to take an indefinite leave of absence, everybody, what does that mean? That means you're fired. You are fired. How does he say, I think it's indefinite? Nick, it ain't indefinite. She just said, he should have said it's open-ended. The writers wrote that wrong. Victoria never said you're taking an indefinite leave of absence. That would mean you're fired. Nick could go back next week, seriously, and say, I took a week off, I rejuvenated myself, and now I'm back. And I wouldn't even come to Victoria for it. I'd be going to my father or the co-CEO. I took a week off, I'm zen, and now I'm back, effective tomorrow, right? So anyway, Sharon is getting ready to go, but she looks down and she sees the address on the box, and she goes, hey, that's not my shampoo. And I looked at the size of the box, and I said, well, what do you do? Order shampoo by the gallon? Doggone it, that box is way too big for shampoo, right? A year's worth of shampoo, maybe. So anyway, she opens it up. Cameron Kirsten's lawyer sends her this paperwork. Now, mind you, everybody, for one, I never saw the original Cameron Kirsten story. So originally, was he a wealthy business owner? Was he? I mean, because he looks like he is now if he's leaving his company to Sharon in the event of his death. And she's like, oh, I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I would think that's blood money. And Nick says, well, I agree with you. So they're looking at the paperwork and, just looking at it realistically. And he goes, but you know what, Sharon, look, he was in jail for 20 years. His company could be in shambles. It could be worth nothing. And she said, I don't care if it's worth $1 million. I don't want to touch it. And I thought, wow, I don't know if that would be me, Sharon. Because guess what I would do? Reach back out to the man's attorney with my attorney. See, ain't no me contacting you. My attorney would be contacting you. Right now, Michael ain't working. Michael Baldwin, contact that attorney. How much is it worth? What do I need to sign? I'm taking it and selling it for parts. You understand me? Selling it off. And then I would take all the money and donate it to the Ray. What was Ray's last name? That's a hot shame. He's been gone so he's been gone. He wasn't on long enough for me to want to remember his last name. Whatever. If you can remember Sharon's dead husband, Ray. It was Lola, Ray, whatever the last name is, right? I would donate it to that charity because that would make Cameron turn over in his grave. Yep. I'm giving it all to charity. I would actually give half of it to New Hope for Nick. Here, Nick, here you go. This is for New Hope. This is for the Ray, whatever, foundation. Something that Cameron Kirsten did that's going to some good. There we go. That's the best way to handle that. That's exactly how I would handle that, right? So we'll see. They had scenes with Sharon talking to Nick saying, you know, I do need you, but you're going to have to get your hands dirty. And he goes, oh, how dirty did they need to get? I'm here. I mean, whatever he said, but Nick is down. You know, it's Nick and Sharon again. Nick is down. She may have him look into that company, see what it's all about, right? Nick could handle it. He ain't got nothing else to do. He could evaluate it. While you at it, Nick, check in on New Hope. Is there a new project underway? Check in on the property manager over there because Noah never really did do it, right? So Nick has other stuff he could do. But I would get under my sister's last nerve and I would be going right back to work because you know what, Victoria, I'm not going out like that. Not for you. Okay. So the last scene, we have Kyle talking to Mariah. And I fast forwarded the whole thing. I can't stand the conversations between Kyle and Mariah. I can't stand them, right? So then he's sitting there, just sitting at the table, and Audra comes walking in, and she sees him sitting there. So she goes sashaying over to him, bends down in his ear. Well, hello. Well, hello. And he looks at her and kind of smiles. And I'm thinking, if Sharon would have been at work, that scene right there, that familiarity of I'm a lean in and I'm a whisper. I may not be able to hear what you're saying in his ear, but by the simple fact you leaning over and you're getting inappropriately close to a married man, that would send red flags up my pole, right? But that's Audra. See, that's Audra. Instead of inconspicuously coming in, walking across to the counter where you get the coffee, turning around and looking at him and doing a smile. No. I'm going to come whisper just in case somebody could accidentally come from behind and see it. And I could say, you misunderstood. All I was doing was saying hello to Kyle. That's it. She's a piece of work, but it's going to be good because Kyle's going to get just what he deserves with that one. That one's a hot mess. Diane actually needed, or Jack needed to be walking in, getting some coffee at that time. That's what needs to happen, right? So let's go to Comic Corner, Comic Corner. Annette says, Sally will kidnap Tessa's baby. Will Summer have Chance's baby? We'll see how quick they put Summer and Chance together. Because remember, Chance's low T problem could always have corrected itself over time. So guess who might be corrected? See, Summer and Kyle never had a child, which I don't understand. Why didn't they then not have a child almost right after they got Harrison? Cement in the whole family deal, right? So we'll see. They do stuff like that. They'll make Abby get pregnant by Devon and Chance get pregnant, Summer get pregnant by Chance. Watch. Annette also says, well, when Victor hears about Delilah, she'll be put down like yesterday's news. Annette, who's Delilah? Now, I did read later in the other comments, you meant Audra. Her name is Audra Childs, not Delilah. I first read that and I thought, who's Delilah? Did I miss a character? And that also says, so Harrison's real mommy bad, but every other person in his life is perfect. Pretty lady Kyle had no intent on going home wrapped up in the arms of Audra, not Delilah, Audra. And then Monique says, if Kyle can do what he did with Audra with no regrets, buying her roses and diamonds, says a lot about him. When did he buy roses and diamonds? Is that a future episode? Because I didn't see him buy her any diamonds. I think he got that piece of tail real cheap. All it needed was a drink. He bought her. Come on now. And then Lashunta says, right. He never did right by Summer. When he realizes it'll be too late. And Lashunta says, Summer's a jerk. I can't wait till Audra shows her colors. I know Phyllis had a mess or made a mess, but she told Summer she would go on the run. Summer said no. And Nick is a hypocrite. If Phyllis was so bad, why did he keep going back with her? Kyle's gonna get his just desserts. Exactly. Nick, I just want to sock him in his face the way he's talking about Phyllis right now, because you want to know what, everybody? Probably what, this time next year, Nick and Phyllis will be back together again. Mm-hmm. They write those two back in and out again so fast. It's ridiculous. You wonder why on earth are they getting back together again? Why? Right? And they do. So no, Nick, no, because she's good enough for you when you decide you want her. Because see, Phyllis is more, I think, in the sack, very wild and passionate. She runs circles around Sharon in the bed, right? And so Phyllis gives everybody that spice that they've been longing, including Jack, you know. But then they get sick of Phyllis being Phyllis when you knew what you were getting when you got back with her. So anyway, that's it for the daily recap for the Young and the Restless. I will be back 4th of July week. Let's see what's happening in Genoa City next week.